And we are back. The finale episode of Loki. What was the title? Glorious Purpose. It was just aptly titled, right? That's how it started. That's how the show started.
It's the full circle, yeah.
Um,
because I think they named one a previous episode, right, from season 1, right? Glorious Purpose.
The first episode was titled Glorious Purpose.
There you go. So the Ouroboros, right? So that was dope, man. That was dope. I like that.
The first episode of the season 1 was called Glorious Purpose.
The first season?
Yeah,
Glorious Purpose. Yeah, okay. Was it the first episode? Damn.
First episode, Glorious Purpose.
I don't know why I thought it was like the second or third episode. Okay.
Loki was a great show, man. Now, that's like a sidebar. And looking at the title of these episodes, like even season 1.
When you talk
Loki
about
was a great show, man. Loki was a great show.
Execution, man. A plan and then execute it. They executed their plan, whether you like it or not. You know what I mean?
That's all you can ask for, right?
That's all you can ask for.
That's all you can ask for. Other than it being really good, right?
Exactly. But this is a show we can look back on and say they didn't just completely fumble the bag, right? Like they didn't fumble their way through this, man. They planned it out. I know some things had to have changed behind the scenes with Jonathan Majors, but whatever it was, they executed, I think, their plan. I think they came out 90% with what they wanted to put out. And hey, man, this is their best. This is the MCU's best work, man. This is the MCU's best work. I got it the best.
MCU.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm sorry. Let me fix that. Damn.
Nah, if you was gonna go, I was going.
No. I'm sorry. Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
It's the Disney Plus's best work.
I mean, if you wanted to run with the thing, I wanted to hear you. You know, like, hey, because there's a question that's floating out about Loki and I wanted to sun it at first just because I'm a hater at my core, but I'm a nice guy with it, right? Yeah. I say that lovingly. I don't think I'm like I like to hate everything, but in my mind, if you say something, I gotta find a way to disagree real quick.
Right.
But I say all that to say one of the lines about Loki was, as you say, like the best thing in MCU. And let's not go with just the show. Is Loki the best character to come out of that?
That's another question.
Because that's one of the things that people coming out with. Like he has the best arc.
Yes.
I wanted to sun that, but it's hard to sun.
I didn't listen. When I heard it, I was like, but he gotta be, right? He gotta have the best. You gotta say he got the best arc, right? Has anybody had a better arc than Loki?
He ended his line basically kind of saying, like, kind of how he started. What he say? I did this for you, for us, right? And that was a line he was saying to Odin.
Yeah.
And then he said that, in the first Thor movie.
Everybody is what he said. Yeah.
No, Loki, no. And then he dropped. And then he said that he ended that by saying that to Sylvie and Mobius, like that's the completion, right? And that's it. And then you saw we will get to what he did, but that's the completion, right? Right.
Yeah.
I kind of got chills right there, but it's like unnecessarily, but I got chills. Whatever. But
is he the best though?
Hey man, because I always was like, because the person I had wasn't even part of the discussion. The things I was seeing online, it was like him or Tony Stark, right? He had the best arc.
Yeah.
And I always thought Tony was a given about what he did, where I always felt like Cap had an arc, right? What Cap was, and he, obviously had his movie, but then what he showed up as in especially when he showed up in Avengers, right? Where he was like, he was basically a soldier and naive, kind of, to me.
Yeah.
To what he became.
He was a man out of his time, and he was
man out of time. To when he became especially when he got to like when he started talking to Ross in Infinity War, like, I'm through asking for permission, right? I don't ask for permission, whatever his line was. I wish I could remember it. When he was like that, like when he was the leader in Captain in Civil War, he was the leader. But Loki kind of sunning all that when you really think about it. So I don't make a strong case in saying he's not, right?
It's hard to argue.
I think it's Loki. I think it's Loki. So I would say he had to. Would you say so? Beyond saying he had to be who's the best character? That's always subjective, right? I mean, it could be not subjective. It could be flat out like is he the best character? But let's say, does he have the best arc? So
that's the question I would really ask. I don't think he's the best character, obviously, because like you said, Tony Stark all the suits and stuff he went through, his just his actions, the thing, his accomplishments. Captain America, same thing, man. Everything he went through, all his, that's character. I wouldn't say he's the best character. I would say he probably has the best arc overall. When you think about, especially when you start the movie or you start the show from that point of him invading New York. That wasn't, we knew the guy, we knew what he became, like this guy who always sort of had this love-hate relationship with Thor, who couldn't be trusted, stayed the god of mischief until he made that sacrifice with Thanos. But that was, let's just say that the show never came out. You would look at that and say, man, okay, Loki had a nice little arc, man.
Nice little story.
Yeah, nice little story, man. He was the villain of the first Avengers movie. That was a big deal. He came a long way. He had a great arc from the first Thor movie. Just looking at how he had this conflict of obviously he loved his dad, he loved his father, he loved his mother even more.
Yeah,
but he finds out that he's not even a part of the family. He's a frost giant. So
yeah.
It's this whole it's that. And then, had we just had that his original arc, we'd have been like, oh man, Loki turned out all right.
He was cool. He was really good.
He died a hero, man. He died. Everything he was in a microcosm in that last movie, where he like betrays his brother one last time only to save his brother. That's Loki in a microcosm.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, no, we actually got a chance to start off. We kind of got like a default Loki from that point of after he invaded New York, and then we had to come all the way from that and pull him through. He had to basically he redid the entire character. You know what I mean?
He detoured.
Yeah, he detoured completely.
All the way back and made a left.
And the slightly become, not only this guy, the god of mischief, but we actually watch him find his purpose. And it's not just given to him right away. It's like, no, he gotta realize the consequences of his actions. He sees a part of himself in his variant and Sylvie, and Loki becomes the hero. Loki becomes the one that's responsible. Like, man, you know what? We could be powerful, but we got to think about this. We can't just kill this guy. So to see him learn from that, and then to see him go through what he went through this season to try to repair the damage that they had done, that's an arc for me, man. I would argue if he don't have the best arc, he like top 3,
Oh yeah.
He like top 3, man. So I got him up there. I got him up there, man. He got one of the top 3 arcs. I'm not gonna say he got the best because it's like 2 Lokis. It's like 2 Lokis. It's not like they did. It's not like they jumped in right when he's about to get his neck snapped in Infinity War and pulled that Loki in. So it's like we saw 2 arcs. We saw a variant. We literally saw the arc of a variant. So, but even that was impressive, and considering who Loki was before the invasion,
ain't it, man?
Yeah. Before the invasion, who was that guy who this was that guy from the first Thor movie. This was the guy who invaded New York. So to see that guy transform into what he becomes in this last episode, that was dope, man.
And if they had to change course to do that, that's good work, right? If the course was changed from because of the J Major stuff, like, well, we wanted to do this, and this is what we gonna do. That's a pretty dope detour, right? I hate that had to happen.
That's a good ass audible right there.
That's a good Omaha, ain't it?
That's a good Omaha.
Omaha. Okay. So beyond it was great. What do you think this means? Okay, like so nothing happens, right? That can't potentially mean something, even if they don't cash the check, right? Even if they don't cash the check. But that's what we here for, right? It's Theory Expo.
Right.
Like when I'm at the end, basically saving all the branches, right? And bringing life back into them.
Yeah.
Right? So
all the ones that he could save, right?
Some of them didn't. Some of them didn't make it, but all the ones that he could, right? That he could save. So we have a full-fledged multiverse going on, right? Are there some, or do you have any theories on where maybe like some causality of this. What could this possibly mean? Along with adding the fact that we got the news the other day that this Avengers King Dynasty, the director,
he's out of there.
left the project.
Yeah.
Do you think any of that plays of what happened at the end of Loki?
It's funny that to answer the question, but it's funny how they called it a failsafe.
Yeah, they did.
Because that's how I felt after I saw this finale. I was like, oh, they created a failsafe. You got Loki there now. You control that character. You control Tom Hiddleston. If you want to bring another Tom Hiddleston, if you want to do something else with Loki, you could still have a variant just come in and move around and still be hopping, So to me, they created a failsafe so that they control the multiverse. And at the same time, putting a perfect wrap on Loki. The reason why I think that this worked so well is because I think this was, for the most part, their original plan.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Sylvie was supposed to be in there. Maybe I still, like I get, I agree. That there some changes had to be made. You know what I mean? They definitely had to call some audibles, but I think this is close to what they were originally going to come up with. Because you got to remember, when we found out a few weeks ago, Jonathan Majors wasn't even supposed to be the main villain for the MCU.
Yeah.
If anything, that's why the ending would have been changed. Part of me want to say that this was their original ending.
Oh, even when the genesis of the show.
Yeah, because Jonathan Majors was never supposed to stick around and be like in all these movies and tied to all these movies. But again,
that makes sense.
Yeah, this a theory, speculation, but part of me want to say it's sort of like they were like, well, they were kind of sitting in a position of like, well, this is what we was gonna do anyway. You know what I mean? Like
contingency.
We wasn't. Yeah, exactly. We already this was our original plan. You know what I mean? We never planned to have to make it so that He Who Remains has this lasting effect. Because think about it, if Jonathan Majors never got in trouble, Kang Dynasty's coming out, right? Like, if anything, they would have had to make adjustments to make sure that season 2 was different from season 1, because they want season 2 to talk to the movies more than season 1 did, right? It would make sense that they would, because the first movie didn't talk to the other. The first season didn't talk to the movies. Multiverse of Madness came out, and these two movies had this show and the movie had nothing to do with each other. They didn't talk to each other, even though one is dealing with the multiverse. So, if anything, this allowed them to go back and say, like, yeah, maybe we can stick to our original plan where Jonathan Majors isn't the end all be all, or we don't have to leave a thread there to remind the audience, hey, He Who Remains our Kang waving like one of us got away, like, no, they can effectively ignore Kang now. You got Loki there now. So it sort of solidifies the multiverse. Keep that in effect. You don't have to completely do away with the multiverse, but you have a character there now that's not Kang. You got Loki there now, and it makes sense, and they can control Loki better than they can control Jonathan Majors Kang. And if anything, they can use that as an excuse to say, oh yeah, Kang, that's not, hey, we that's over. I mean, we solved that problem. There won't be any Kangs. There won't be any Kangs. So now you can probably go in and change the multiverse or Kang Dynasty now. Call that something else.
And they kind of let us know with that line when they was like, when they not line, but basically when they kind of brushed it off, to your point, like they can, whatever they want to do with King, they can do, right? And they, so basically, like they're saying that now the TVA is doing what it's doing in the monitoring potential He Who Remain variants, right?
Yeah,
right? They monitor anyone to pop up. It's like, we know about 1 in 616, but that got handled, right? They kind of brushed off Ant-Man, right? And not to shoot Ant-Man any bail, right? Not to do that in any way, but like maybe it was a cluster when you kind of hear to the point you brought up about Kang not really supposing to be that much of a major character in the plans, but how much people like He Who Remains and all that from Loki, they decided to try to start running with it, and they was gonna go full force. That probably was like, that probably put some kind of cluster in to the Ant-Man thing. It was probably more rushed, along with obviously the COVID and everything, trying to like pandemic era movie. Doing that probably again, I shooting the bail because it probably was gonna be what it was anyway, but like they probably pivoted a little bit. Hey, we got to put him in here because of what just happened. Because they were saying, I think they were even saying in some of the writer stuff or director stuff that they finally got to talk that the post cred and Ant-Man didn't impact, meaning like the Kang counts, the Kangs all in the Coliseum and all that didn't really impact what they were doing because they did that off of their show, not vice versa. Like the Timely thing was theirs. That was a dope. Hey, even though it was just a scene,
they did put Timely. That was dope. Yeah, that was dope.
I like Timely, man. Even though it was just a scene, but that impacted the Ant-Man movie, not vice versa. Right? That puts kind of makes sense about what Kang was really ultimately supposed to be, right? Because they wouldn't have put him in a TV show if he was really supposed to be.
There you go. Yep.
You know, if he was really supposed to be.
There you go. Nah, that was Jonathan Majors. This is Jonathan Majors, you know, up and coming actor, guy who had just did Lovecraft Country, you know. He was coming off of that. He was coming off of some Netflix movies. Like, you know, he's up and coming, man, and they was like, they had him on Disney Plus for a reason. You know, he was supposed to be the villain of Loki. They had a plan, man. This was their show and they had a villain. And I think the big bros at MCU was like, you know, looked over, you know, you looking over, you know, how you see somebody, you know, you see a little brother play, like, man, what you got, man? You
got an arm.
Like, you got, damn, I got a burger. What you get?
Yeah.
You get a piece of that, you know. And next thing you know, you reaching over, and I think, yeah, it was just a matter of, you know, some of the big wigs looking over and was like, man, he's really good, and I think, you know, they didn't have anybody in place. So they went ahead and snatched him up. And that's why none of these movies, and Loki didn't talk to any of the movies. Like, it wasn't like, and I don't think the name Kang was ever mentioned in 2 seasons of Loki.
No, it never was.
Kang was never mentioned. You know, I don't think those were meant to be.
Look at finale again. Like, I know what he was like. I think he kept saying versions of me, but I don't think he ever said Kang. Being in Kang until we got to Ant-Man. And you walk away from Loki, man. Like, I walk away from Loki because, you know, you remember, I kept saying it, on wax and off wax, man. They got Sylvie about the time, and she gonna be this. And mind you, she was that.
Yeah,
she wasn't a lot of that. It wasn't the season, but it wasn't the season, right?
No, it really wasn't.
It wasn't the season. And then she gave him some game at the end, right? Like in the last one. Like she wasn't just like, you know, the shit she was doing. Remember she yelled and all that shit happened. Like her whole character arc was that, right? Is being mad and then can't control her anger and all this and all that. Where when she talked to him at the end, and between the advice she gave him, and with Mobius, like even indirectly gave him when he went back to that chair.
That was dope.
Yeah, that was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Right? That was beautiful. And
they did a good job with the show, man.
Yeah, even though she still was that through the season, but she wasn't dominating the season with that, right? She got fleshed out. So you walk around, you walk out like, yo, you could be, Loki, I love, and as you should, or Mobius, I love their dynamic. You could be like, the addition of Ouroboros was good, right? You got a whole nother character. That was good. Victor Timely. You know, I love Victor Timely. He was dope. He just did an excellent job with the show, because the show was, I won't say because, like, I know, I would imagine because it was self-contained to the point, meaning you already said it, they had their own plan. They had a plan. And I don't think and mind you, what happened with JM, but like, there's always hurdles when you're doing something. You know that in real life. You go on a project, you in your job and you got a project, and you put out a whole plan for the thing, and then somebody gets a new job, right?
It's called time. Yeah, it's called time. Unless you can do everything in a condensed time,
it's always something
space of time. The more you plan something out, the longer it takes, the more time eats up stuff. So
yes,
time becomes, oh man, I'm sick. Oh man, my mom got sick or something, or my family, like, oh man, I'm moving now. Oh, wife having a baby, time eat up stuff. If you say like, hey, we doing this, it's gonna be 2 months. You got a better chance of getting that shit done because time ain't gonna eat it. But the more when you say, oh yeah, 8 months from now, 2 years from now, we got this plan, it's gonna be this phase. That's when people start, somebody get in trouble, somebody get injured, somebody pull out of the project completely. They move on to other projects. Directors change,
technologies, all kind of thing, and you have that in your real person.
Strikes.
Like, I'm on projects all the time, and the person who started the project, people who started aren't the people who ended it.
All
right?
the time.
Even project managers, right? You're being agile and things of that nature. So, do you have that ability when you're doing something? Whether it's a reshoot. Now you're going back to this. Can you do reshoots? Because all those things can't be excuses, right? No one wants to hear that day. And so, like, again, I like JM. I love Walter Timely.
Yeah.
I hope in some capacity he's still around.
He's a great actor.
I hope he's still around.
But
because I like everybody, because and a little sidebar, it's tough getting into this kind of like these genre of shows and movies and all. It ain't for everybody.
Nah.
So you gotta know that
clearly
going in, right? Like you're gonna get love, you're gonna get hated, you're gonna get caught up in things you didn't think you was gonna get caught up. I was just trying to do this, right? But then there's some people that embrace it. Like, look, hey man, I enjoy doing this. Like, I like that. I can tell I like that Tom Hiddleston liked being Loki, right? Now he's had dope thing, but he's taking advantage of that too, right? Like wherever
I'm in Wanda, they like the main ones who really lean.
I like that they like doing that.
Yeah.
Right. This ain't just a role, because they gonna do a bunch of roles. And they probably like that about other roles. They probably have passion for all the roles that they do, right? It's like how I like this ain't the Sixth Element. I like Ian McDermott. Is it Ian McDermott?
Yeah.
He enjoyed being Palpatine.
Right.
Like he's enjoyed being that. Like he's take everything that come with that. He probably like us doing other stuff, but he don't shy away from the fact that he's not Palpatine. Like, no, you Palpatine. That's the character that everybody enjoy, and you want to and
the opposite would be the opposite would be Ford without Han Solo.
Yeah. Like I don't.
The opposite. He hate being Han Solo.
Like, come on, man. I don't personally like that, man. Like, and obviously that's from a different era. But like now, you either in it or you're not, right? Like, so it's tough. Meaning, like, I like people who enjoy the character. That they're, hey, man, I enjoy being there. Like that was dope for me. Whatever. I feel like Johnny put that in anything he does. He did, to the point where he's probably like an asshole on set a lot, right? Because of his methods and all that.
He definitely seemed like a method actor.
I felt like Johnny was. I hope he around, because I feel like Johnny would whatever role he was going to be, he was going to be dope. Hell, he could have been the new T'Challa and would have killed, right?
Man,
what I'm saying? Like somebody like that, you got to have people like that in this. They have to take everything that come with it, man, because it's not the easiest thing to do right now, right? People got so much love for you, they got the arrows. And I like Johnny for that. But come out of this, man, like you would and kind of going forward, to your point, they can use whatever. They have a base that they set up that they have a multiverse, right? Yeah. And you can have a multiverse without it having to talk. My bad. Talk to the show,
right?
You don't have to talk to the show now. Right?
Well, it go back to your point, like you said, like how you said that they needed something, they needed a villain, but they always had a focus that they wanted to shift to. The same way that the Infinity Stones was the first focus of the the Infinity Saga. They wanted to make this the multiverse saga, and they made their villain Kang, which was appropriate. Given the source material, but problem was they didn't really plan. It wasn't organic, right? Like you piggybacked off of a show, off of his performance in the show, but it wasn't your plan for Jonathan Majors to be the guy.
Yeah,
and we clearly see that in 3 movies that don't talk to each other but are supposed to talk to each other. So yeah. Yeah, but my bad. I was just back on what you were saying.
To your point, let's go back to when Loki first came out, right? There are 3 movies and two movies and a TV show that had a multiverse impact, and none of them. And even though 2 of the characters, one character was in both movies, but it didn't matter. What happened in Multiverse of Madness wasn't impacted by No Way Home.
We got 4 movies. My bad. We got 3 movies. in a TV show that
Yeah.
didn't speak to each other. Yeah.
Didn't speak to it. Had their multiverses was all different, right? Right. Spider-Man's was about the Spider-Verse, multiverse of, and be that what it was, right? But Multiverse of Madness and Loki was like not that far. They was all okay. Hey, Loki did impacted such and such when they got this stuff. None of it did. None of it did, right? None of it did. So they were doing 3 different kind of versions of the story indirect, where it's like, okay, cool, all that happened. Okay, cool. This is the multiverse, and we don't have to. We don't. We have one, right? Like we have one. It's out there. So like anything that happened, and we gonna get into the Marvels, kind of what things were happening. It was like, okay, cool. We have a multiverse. We don't even got to go back. What I'm trying to say is, you and I ain't got to try to figure it out no more. Like, which one is the one, right?
Right.
Is it this shit that Doctor Strange is doing with the incursions and all that? Incursions gonna happen with cool, but like we already have a solid thing. Okay, what happened to Loki? Loki saved the multiverse. Cool. Let's move on.
He made it. Yeah, he answered the question.
He made everything that's possible. You're right.
He answered the question because the question was like, because that Loki the show presented was, is the multiverse the danger? Is the multiverse a danger to all existence? Should there just be one timeline?
Yeah.
They answered the question like, no, the multiverse is here to stay. They solidified it like, no, we need the multiverse for this reason. This is why. This is how we're gonna keep it all together. It's not in danger anymore. So now we can move on to the next, whatever the next phase is. Is like, okay, now we're not questioning now. Is the multiverse in danger? And maybe that's where you get rid of Kang. Now it's just gonna be dealing with, all right, maybe now we start dealing with these other parts of the multiverse. Maybe we get an entire movie in another universe.
Yeah, now we can just do the stories over there.
Yeah, now we can just do this. Yeah, we can focus on the
story.
That's a
great way to put it. I didn't mean to cut you.
We kind of did that with What If already.
Exactly.
Now we can do movies like that, not just
do the thing
one-off stories.
Like where it's like this tick. Like now we have this because I don't know if we really want that until it gets too much. You always get to the point where it gets too much, and then you want to consolidate everything.
Yeah.
But we don't have this ticking time bomb from 3 different sources, all dealing with a multiverse, where it's like the multiverse lives, and now we're just getting stories from it. Now we can go. We want to do like X-Men, Fantastic Four, and all that, and then people talk because there might be some kind of like pending doom that we all got to get together for, Beyonder, Battle World, whatever we got, whatever potentially might happen, right? But that's part of the story. The multiverse ain't the damn villain, because for a minute there, it was almost like the multiverse was becoming the villain.
It was like the multiverse having one is a problem.
Yeah,
incursions. You had all these what was it called when she was walking across? It was called walk. What was it called?
What was that called? Not the dream walking, but I forget. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So she walking across like. That was right. Like the multiverse was the problem. Now we like, the multiverse is here to stay. Like it belongs. It needs to be here. It needs to exist. We passed that question. Now we can start actually exploring some of these other universes instead of treating it like, ooh, I don't even know that's supposed to exist. Like, what do you mean? Like, no, we offer that now. Now the Loki show's wrapped up. The multiverse exists. Now it's about, all right. And I think if I had to like long-term theory it out, I would just say that getting, like you said, getting to Battle World and all that, and getting to Secret Wars is basically just about, all right, that's where the consolidation happens.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, all right, listen, we're not gonna operate this, we're not gonna operate on different universes. We're not gonna do that. What we are gonna do is we're gonna take the best out of everything and consolidate and put it all together and eliminate everything else out in an incursion. Maybe it'll be 2 main universes that they focus on. And I'm thinking the X-Men. Maybe it has something to do with the X-Men and Fantastic Four. I wouldn't be surprised if they share the same universe.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't
think we're gonna be dealing with, all right, this movie come out, it's in universe 347, and this movie come out, it's in 616. This movie come out, it's in 637. No, we probably gonna deal with one other universe. We know we got the prime 616. That's what we've been following this entire time. That's where we at in the aftermath of the Infinity Saga is in 616.
Yes.
But I do think there's gonna be another universe that's gonna have everybody in it, and I think we saw that universe here soon because we got a character there that's in that universe.